All right, guys. So here we have a video on CNN. Analysis: how FBI search of Mar-a-Lago could help Trump in 2024. So we are going to dive into that question. Some people are very convinced of that point on this panel. We're going to discuss that a little bit, and I'll tell you guys what I think.
Michael, I want to ask you the first question because, you know, for an outsider, you've spent a considerable amount of time as a biographer of Trump with him and with family members. What do you think is going through his mind and their minds?
Oh, I think they're delighted. This is a surprising answer, but I think that they've been planning for this for years. Donald Trump first did his reaction to the FBI, actually having his lawyer call them Gestapo and stormtroopers 50 years ago. So he's been prepared for this strategy all along. He issued a campaign-style commercial within hours.
He's really trying to make the argument that, like, they're playing right into Trump's hands. He's been ready for this. He wanted this. That is quite a galaxy brain take. Nobody, I repeat, nobody wants to be investigated by the FBI and raided by them. Nobody wants that.
This was prepared in advance. So he's an expert at spinning everything into publicity. He believes all publicity is good publicity. And that hardcore Trump group, 35% of the electorate, is going to be electrified by this.
Okay, look, that's true, but there's a big piece of it that's missing from his analysis, which is that number keeps dwindling. You have to acknowledge that fact. It's empirical. That number keeps going down, down, down. He's bleeding them slowly but surely, and they're fleeing mostly to DeSantis. So I don't, like, yes, is this going to solidify the hardcore Trump fans and make them even more crazy and you know, beholden to their dear leader? Yes. But remember, in 2016 when he won, he got 9% of Democrats to vote for him. Ain't no 9% of Democrats going to vote for him now. They're gonzo. They're done. So that 9% gone. What about the independents? What about the right-leaning independents or the moderates or the solid group in the Republican Party that is anti-Trump? Right now, Trump only has 52% of the Republican Party in a primary race. That means half of even registered Republicans are like, I don't know, man. And then what about the people who support him, but they're smart enough to understand, look, I love him, I support him, but there's a lot of noise around him right now, and he's kind of toxic, and I don't think others will support him. What about that? So yeah, the group becomes more solidified, but it keeps dwindling. It keeps dwindling, and he's not acknowledging that.
I think he's having a good day, actually.
Oh, so you see this as serious amendment.
He's having a good day, getting raided by the FBI. He's having a good day. Look, conventional wisdom is a scourge. Because the conventional wisdom used to... Remember this, guys, back in 2015, 2016? Oh, he can never win. No way. There's not a chance. And they were convinced, even after he won, like, you know, 2 primaries in a row or primary in a caucus, they were like, yeah, but we've hit peak Trump. There's no way he's going to win now. And I was saying the opposite the entire time because that's where the evidence was pointing. But now it's like the conventional wisdom has flipped to the Teflon Don narrative, and there's no nuance in the Teflon Don narrative. Now they think he's happy he was raided by the FBI. No. Okay, look. The best argument I have for you here is a very simple one. Hillary was investigated by the FBI. Hillary was. Did that help her or hurt her numbers? It hurt her numbers massively. It did. In fact, that's one of the things the campaign blames for their loss. Now, I don't think that's a huge part of it, but in terms of did her numbers go up or down or stay the same? They went down. They went down because Americans, look, defund the police had like an 18% approval rating. So in other words, the police and law enforcement are generally viewed positively. For all their flaws, they're viewed positively by your normie American. The FBI investigating Trump, that's a big deal, man. Raiding him, that's a big deal. Executing a search warrant, huge deal. You can't spin that to, actually, this is a good thing.
Levels.
I do. If we're talking about it being vital national security documents, I don't think that we can forget that those, you know, even if it's top secret, that means it could pose a grave national security risk if it's in the wrong hands or made out into the public. This I'm hoping goes beyond simply not complying with some archiving laws, or DOJ just handed Donald Trump the Republican nominee and potentially the presidency. If it's seen as some sort of massive overreach and not something incredibly serious, this is a very good day for Donald Trump. And by the way, he knows how to play this.
I don't buy that either. Look, there's a chance it's just about the classified material. There's a really good chance, probably a 60% chance, it's about more than just that classified material. Either way, what they did was fine. And there's, handed the 2024 nomination. 2024 is a long way away. It is a long way away. And right now, Donald Trump is under intense scrutiny. He's being investigated by the Department of Justice. He has to sit for a deposition in New York with the attorney general that is the same attorney general that brought down the political juggernaut, Andrew Cuomo. There's questions about 15 years of tax fraud and insurance fraud with Trump's company. There's the federal case in Georgia where they just subpoenaed the 16 fake electors, and they have documents where the fake electors put their names down. And if even one of them flips on Trump, says, yeah, the order came from Trump, then Trump gets indicted. So you got like 10 different things that are roadblocks that genuinely are an issue for him. And you're already handing the 2024 nomination to him? Why? Now, is he the favorite? Sure, that's a fair point to make. 2024 is a long way away, and a lot of fucking things can happen. So to just declare that, I mean, it's just, now this has become the conventional wisdom. The Teflon Don thing has become the conventional wisdom.
Up in his favor. He more or less broke this news. It was
He did break it.
I believe a Florida-based reporter had something, but he was ready to go. And I've actually seen quite sort of aligned messaging among Republicans. This is, a banana republic. This shouldn't happen. If they do it to the president, the FBI will do it to you. I think he's having a good day as of now. So I hope DOJ's buttoned up on this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is psycho shit. Did anybody say when the FBI was investigating Hillary that it's a win for her? No, because that's a dumb thing to say. Now you see the FBI is investigating Trump and raided his place, and it's like, well, actually, maybe this is a good thing. No. Why are people so resistant to Occam's razor? Why are they so resistant to Occam's razor? I don't understand it. It's like, don't do any mental gymnastics. Just look at the most plausible, straightforward interpretation.
That's very interesting. The messaging from Republicans, they're seeing maybe benefit going into the midterms on this.
Unless the they is Ron DeSantis.
Well,
or anybody else who...
That's who was really happy secretly behind the scenes. He did some tweet that was sort of in support of Trump, but behind the scenes he was like, yes! Because this is serious. And in the betting markets, by the way, we'll get to a story on this later, DeSantis has now taken the lead. Because apparently the betting markets aren't as stupid as these bobbleheads in mainstream media.
Was planning on running for the Republican nomination in 2024. Look, this just happened. So the ramifications are mostly unknown. But in the short term, what it looks like is exactly what Alyssa said. I mean, I cannot tell you how many Republicans I have talked to who have said that just the political way that he handled this is vintage Trump. And for his short-term political goal, which is, if it is, in fact, to get the Republican nomination, kind of genius, because he has used look at the buzzwords he used in that statement. Occupy, raid. He basically said it was the deep state, which totally triggers and animates the people who not only who like him, but there was concern, according to people around Trump, that he was losing some mojo. He was having some trouble raising money, and this, he believes, turns it around.
You want your mojo back? Just get raided by the FBI and be under 12 different investigations, and then you're a winner, bro.
I mean, he has foreshadowed this every step of the way from Mueller. I mean, every investigation into him is a political hoax. We all knew that if DOJ did anything, that this was going to be the response. But I do agree with Alyssa that it will look bad if this is if this is dotting the I's, crossing the T's type of thing on a classified document concealing type of crime.
I don't even agree with that. I mean, they got fucking Al Capone on tax evasion. I could have seen, in the genesis of them getting him on tax evasion, I could have seen people saying, oh, if this is all you got on him, then maybe you shouldn't have done it. No, you should have, because it worked. I don't know what they're going to get Trump. Ultimately, I don't know what they're going to try to get Trump on and what they can succeed on getting Trump on, but for the love of God, even just like witness tampering of the people in the January 6th committee, that's a huge deal. The fact that he committed fraud and took millions of dollars from his supporters and said it was going to go to stop the steal and fighting the rigged election, and then they fucking pocketed that money. mean, the list goes on and on. The tax fraud, the tax evasion, the fake elector scheme in Georgia, the, obstructing an official proceeding of Congress or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what they're going to get him on. But the fact of the matter is, if you get him on anything, even if it's just a classified document shit, that's something. That's something. And that matters. And that's a big fucking deal. So, again, they're too in the bubble now, and they're not doing like the normie voter lens. They're doing his base is really for it. Okay. We know that. They're for anything he does. If he farts, they're like, yes, please another. So that's not a good point.
But I suspect it's not. And I suspect it's not because, first of all, they got 15 boxes from there. They did discuss it in June. You have to
15 boxes in January.
and then they talked about what was, they had some discussions in June. I would guess, this is pure, speculation, but from my experience as a federal prosecutor, I would suspect that DOJ has very good information from a witness that there is more there, and that's why they did the search warrant. Remember,
Trump could release the search warrant, and he's choosing not to, which tells me there's stuff there he doesn't want people to see. So this is probably not just about the classified documents. But as I said, even if it is, I'm fine with it. And I don't think it's helping Trump.
this is a guy who's flushing documents down the toilet. You're not going to go ask him to turn something over. So you
True.
have to do a search warrant. And I don't think they're doing a search warrant just simply to sort of button up their investigation. I think they would only do this if they had real evidence of real indication of some evidence.
And to be clear, what I just described is the political argument and what is going through his mind about his political future, which he sees is very much tied to the legal strategy. But you're right, that it's really hard to imagine, especially given what we have seen within the DOJ over the past, several years, that they did not do this without it being buttoned up and beyond just the National Archives or the documents that he took, unless it's really relevant to a larger thing.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, I think that's probably true. But doesn't that sort of fly in the face of your previous comments of, oh, this helps them so much? Because if they really did do their due diligence, they really did dot their I's and cross their T's, well, then he's in a wee bit of trouble now, isn't he? Nobody wants the feds busting down their door, bro. Nobody wants that. So anyway, I'm very resistant to this take. I think people are overthinking it when they say, actually, this helps them. No, it doesn't. Do all the other lawsuits help them too? Does the Georgia lawsuit over the fake electors, does that help him too? Does the New York Attorney General being up his ass, does that help him? Where there's 15 years of tax fraud and bank fraud and insurance fraud that he's currently being investigated for, that he's sitting for a deposition for, does that help him too? Sometimes, as famous, I think it was Freud who said it, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. That's the interpretation of this that makes the most sense to me. Now, this is not me saying definitively he won't win the GOP primary or he won't win the general election. Of course not. Of course not. I'm agnostic on that overall question. But to the very basic proposal of, oh, this helps him, nonsense. The closest analog we have is Hillary Clinton being investigated by the FBI and her numbers went down. And the same shit is going to happen with Trump. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.